Welcome to American Fight Stories with Melissa Dabar. We are challenging all Americans to be better Americans, and we're showcasing excellent American fighters. We are very privileged today to have Miss Regina Gaines. I know her from
the House of Grace.
House of Grace. Yeah, we have a common connection. She is the shelter director for House of Grace, which is a local domestic violence shelter. And how long have you worked for House of Grace?
It'll be 3 years in December.
Wow. Time flies when you're not having fun. When you're having fun and when you're not having fun. But it is also fun, right?
Yes.
Some fun, but a lot of heartache and...
to see a lot of that. But it is rewarding.
Rewarding.
Yeah.
Okay. So October the 1st is the beginning of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. And that's our purple month. It's also the Breast Cancer Awareness Month is in October. And then I think 1 in 10 women suffer from some sort of issues with breast cancer. Mm-hmm. But yet domestic violence is 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men suffer from domestic violence. So it is a purple month and a pink month. But definitely at American Fight Stories, Melissa Dabar likes to talk about domestic violence. So we definitely want survivors to have their stories told. We invite people, fighters of various nature, to come forward and tell their stories. And we're hopeful that their stories of survival will also be a blueprint for other victims that may be suffering, and it may encourage a victim to transition into a survivor. Mm-hmm. So I know Regina from House of Grace, and she is the shelter director at the shelter where I stayed with my 3 daughters years ago, and I continue to be involved. And it's just it is a house of grace.
It is.
So, Regina, could you tell me about what you do for House of Grace?
Oh, I wear many hats. I am the house mom.
She's not wearing a hat today, but she does wear a lot of hats. I'll give her that.
Hats. I'm the house mom. I'm the transporter. I'm sometimes a babysitter. I cook food. I do it all. Me and Miss Sarita and the aides, we like to just wrap around our clients and just make sure that everything that they have is, what they need. Because sometimes they're not vocal about what they want. Sometimes they're so suppressed when they come. Yeah, when they come in, that they don't know, they can't speak up for themselves. So, we try to encourage them to, give them options to, try to. And
I forgot to mention, Melissa gets excited about certain things that come up, the themes of American Fight Stories, and that those are like time to pay attention, but she's already mentioned like a whole string of things. One of them is to encourage, to wrap around other people who are in trauma. So you wrap around somebody who is a victim, and that's what fighters do. They protect other people, especially when you realize they're in crisis. You wrap around them. You encourage them. You also give them options.
Yes.
Instead of,
telling them exactly what to do.
Yeah, giving them options. So I'll ring the bell for a lot of different things right there. So pay attention to themes that we're talking about that are important things about being an American fighter. Okay, go ahead.
So, they come in and they're extremely traumatized. The children are traumatized. So, we always ask them, in the beginning, how can we help you? Even throughout their stay, how can we help you? What is most important right now? So we get them their most important things that they need. They need food. They need clothing. They come with nothing. So,
and it's not your priorities. It's their priorities.
It's their priorities.
So it is, as we say, survivor-centered. Mm-hmm. It's not what Regina wants to lay out, but it's actually from the survivor's perspective, what is the most important thing for them?
For them.
Yeah. And also to motivate them into recovery. Like if you can find out what they need, and it may be basic necessities such as food, clothing, shelter, but you're also finding what motivates them to leave this situation, right? So
and to want to become more independent and better find out who they are, because when they come in, they don't know who they are most of the time. So we help them. We give them choices, and we walk with them to several different things, whether we have to get all of their important documents together and, even simple things, getting their children in school. So I do a lot. I'm at the shelter usually every day. So I'm working one-on-one with our clients, making sure that they have what they need.
Yeah, food, clothing, shelter, those are kind of obvious. Mm-hmm. But what are some other things that are common for women, men in domestic violence? What do they need?
Transportation is a very big barrier. Transportation is key to how they're going to get a job and support their family and become more independent. Also, the women that come in with children, childcare, that is also a very big one. We hopefully, I'm praying to God that we get the grant, but we have put into our grant to be able to help them with childcare and, try even rental assistance and deposits. So hopefully that'll kind of reduce a barrier that they come into, contact trying to get independence. So hopefully we will get the grant and be able to help them in that portion of their life, so that because they can't get a job when they have little ones because there's no childcare.
This is part of the reason why they don't leave.
Yes.
The big question and kind of an indictment against people in domestic violence, whether they're male or female, is why don't you just leave? Yeah. And these are obvious. These are barriers.
Yeah, there's nobody to watch.
Who's going to watch my kids? I don't have a car. I don't have a place to go to. I can't afford to pay the rent on a new place. Yeah. I can't afford the deposits on a new place, or my credit's bad. So those are all, common things that people in I'm trying not to say women in domestic violence, because it's not really true that it's just women. I'm trying to say people, But and so you are phenomenal at helping identify what the needs are and helping to meet those needs and to pump hope into people going through that. So I kind of have no inside that today, 5:00 was a deadline.
Yes.
Right? Ominous. We've got to get in this grant. So, probably when you first took the job of shelter director, you thought you were just going to be down there at the shelter, just chit-chatting it up. And then, you find out that you've got to do other duties as assigned, such as grant writing or,
yes, we have been working tirelessly on 2 grants, actually, that one was due today and one is due on the 6th. So just keep us in prayer.
A break,
we definitely need these grants
and
to continue.
We will pray. So we usually pray at the end, but grants are, for most domestic violence programs, grants are fundamental. You either have private money, donations, churches, funding sources, fundraisers, and then you have grants.
Yes.
When the grants are free flowing, everything's great. But then when they cut them off abruptly, or they put too many strings attached,
decreasing them
up and down, and they get you kind of hooked on it, and then they abruptly take you off of it sometimes. So
we found out today they closed like 20 shelters in Arkansas.
Wow.
20.
That is a
There's
moment.
like 33 shelters, and they're keeping 6.
Okay. That is just, when you think about it, like with the numbers of domestic violence and all of the struggle that has gone into opening a shelter, and just the blood, sweat, and tears, prayers, financial, money, grants, investments in employees that are dedicated and trained, and all that goes into building a program up.
Yeah.
And it is literally heartbreaking to me to just hear that. It almost demands a moment of silence to think about 20 shelters in a state that just shut down. So when they shut down and we preach, well, you just need to go to a shelter, or you just need to go get some help. But in fact, that shelter is now closed, right?
Yeah.
So there are those trained individuals are gone to another job. There's nowhere to go. So
and we are one of 11 shelters in the state of Mississippi. So
yes, we are, again, one of 11 shelters. The House of Grace has been open since 1998. And I can personally attest, it's not just because of grant money. It is because of the faithful support of people in the community, and just the favor of people in the community that not only support with finances, but it's also prayer support. And I personally remember, a few times when we've had to say, we don't know how this is going to work. We don't know what to do. And we've had to reach out, to people in the community and say, we've got to have your help, So, but these grants are very important. Just for instance, like the one you're working on today, that was a lot of money, and a lot of money that's riding on that. So, and you're having to make adjustments. You're having to leave the kids at the shelter and try to make it work to get this money. You have to be an expert in priority. What am I doing? Yes, I'm away from the shelter, but I'm also, Mama's got to go up and work on the grant, right?
Yes. Yes, it was. We spent this whole past week focused just every day at the office working on this grant. Me and Miss Sarita, Miss Cindy, all of us, Miss Verena, just working every day on this grant because we are state funded. That's what helps pay our electric bills. That's what helps pay the shelter aides to be there. So it's definitely
got a lot riding on the grant money. Yes. So and just kind of as a side note, if you have any extra cash laying around, extra money you need to get rid of before the end of the year for tax purposes or whatever, any, donation, tax deductible donation, House of Grace, I can personally attest to is a good place to sow money into. It goes to a good purpose, and it goes not only to women and men in domestic violence, but especially to children who are recovering from the effects of domestic violence. So just go ahead and mail that in, House of Grace, Southaven, Mississippi. Tax deductible. And I know some of you will be looking for your tax deductible donation, and House of Grace is a good place to do that. And we will put it to very good use. All right. Talk some more about about the shelter. This is what's going on at the shelter. What is that shelter all about? Why do we have a shelter?
So when people are actively trying to flee their abuser, their partner, or family member that is causing them harm, they can contact us, and we have a criteria that we have to stay under because we're state funded. We cover 11 counties in North Mississippi. But once they're approved, they can come into shelter, and it is a hidden shelter. And it's just a 3-bedroom house is what we have right now. We would love to grow. And
is this room for a side note? Does anyone have a building? I'm talking about my aspiration. I'm going to interrupt. We need a like an older church or some sort of facility that we could put bedrooms in, and like an ideal situation in my mind would be like a small little Baptist church that's been outgrown or something, and we could have little dormitory rooms and have a fellowship hall to do recovery workbooks. Oh, I'd love to see that. That would be wonderful.
I would love to see this growth.
Yes. And, have office spaces because, but we would love to be more than just a house of grace, but we would like to, we have to turn away a lot of people. We can
only house 12.
We can only house 12, and that includes the little babies. So that includes, when I stayed at the shelter, it was myself and 3 children. One of them was in a baby bed. So that's 4 people. Yeah. That doesn't leave room for a lot of people. I know there's a lot of domestic violence in those 11 counties, and we take in other counties. We take in more than just 11 counties. So we get a lot more calls than we're able to say yes. We would like to say yes more often, right? So, but what about the shelter? More about the shelter.
We help them with all the necessities that they need. We have everything that a house has. We have a laundry room. We help them. Me and Miss Rita, we do case management at least twice a week, trying to just keep up with them to see how we can help them with their next step. We help them do jobs, get job applications, and we help them search for housing and search for their next steps on where they want to go, when they get ready to leave.
If I'm in a domestic violence, we'll just kind of go through a process. So, if I'm in a domestic violence relationship, how would I contact House of Grace to say, hey, could I come in?
So we have a 24-hour crisis line. Okay. It is 662-342-1432. Okay. And they can contact us any time of day, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't matter what time of day. It's 24 hours.
They can call and talk to somebody.
And they don't necessarily even have to come in. If they don't want to come into shelter, we have outside resources as well. We have trauma-informed counseling. We have a food pantry. Again, we could help with, if we get the grant, rent deposits and things of that nature, and childcare. So there's other things that we can offer if they're not ready to come into shelter. But when they are ready to come into shelter, they would give us a call, and our team, me and Miss Sarita and the shelter aides, we go over everything together, and then we see if they meet our criteria, and then we'll bring them into shelter and then help them get all of their necessities and the base items that they need.
So I would call. I would call the hotline number.
Yes.
I could also call the office number. There's a House of Grace office number, and there's a crisis line, 24/7 crisis line. So the office is open 9 to 5, I believe, something like that.
9 to 4.
9 to 4. I could call the office. What's that number? Do you have it?
I'd have to look. It's 662.
662. I'm going to write it down. 662.
253-0252.
0252. And then the crisis line, 24/7.
662.
Okay.
342.
342.
1432.
1432. So if I'm in domestic violence and I need help, I would either call the office, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, and speak to somebody there and let them know that I'm in trouble. I could also go by the office. I could just drop in the office and just kind of, I don't really recommend that, but you could if that's, you know. You could also call the police.
Yes.
And they would refer you to House of Grace, and sometimes the police bring an acute victim, somebody who's severely battered or, you know, say, you know, they're cleared medically, but they could come into the shelter. So they might come in through the police department. Sometimes brings us
once they're approved or processed to get in, they would have to go to the police department, and then the police would bring them directly to our shelter.
That's good. And then we have the crisis line, and so on the crisis line they're going to be clipboard taking notes. You know, what is the immediacy, what is the critical, you know, are you, you know, what do you, they're going to ask you a series of questions on the telephone to see what your situation is. And based on that, what that says, then they're going to
immediately, they call, you know, they'll put them on hold and call me or Miss Sarita, whoever's free at the moment. And, you know, it's, hey, this is an emergency. We need to talk about this right now. So,
and if there's 12 at the shelter, what's the answer?
So we have partnered with a few organizations that could temporarily put them in a hotel until either a spot is available or we find another shelter for them.
Okay. So we definitely want to open more beds. So we'd love to have another facility. We'd love to raise some money for a facility.
Yes.
And we need resources to help move people out of the shelter and help them get moving in the process. And it takes some time for a person to recover if they ever really truly recover. So I'm cleared, you know, there's a bed for me.
Yeah.
And then hopefully there's a bed for me, you know, and then I come into the shelter.
Yeah.
And then I fill out a lot of paperwork, right?
Well, so it just depends. We do it case by case, just however that person, if they're come in, they're extremely stressed, you know, we give them some downtime. Hey, what do you need in this moment? You know, if they're like, okay, look, I haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah.
I
don't want to fill
exhausted.
out your paperwork.
Sometimes they come in, they're black and blue from the head to their feet. So, you know, they're not able to. They need rest.
Yes.
So, you know, we offer that, you know, hey, we just need, we try to get at least one, an emergency contact and then a little information about them and their children, whether they, you know, their needs. And we get that paper and then we let them rest. If they need 2-3 days to rest, we let them rest. And then once they're able, we start the paperwork and, you know, go from there.
What are some of the goals while they're in the shelter?
So, I mean, and again, that's, it's varies per person because one person's goals isn't going to be the same as the other one. So if they need, say one person's goal is to, you know, be independent and get into their own place. We work towards that. We try to start with jobs. We try to start them off with we get a list of jobs that we get every 2 weeks from Sacred Hearts.
That's wonderful. A job fixes a lot. Where's that bell? Where's that bell? A job. Yeah, a job, right?
We go with them to different places just to see, hey, are y'all hiring? Whatever the kind of job it is that they're most interested in doing and are able to do. And then some of them are it's like, hey, I want to get back home to my family. So if they want to go back to Texas, they want to go back to California, wherever their support system is, we could help them with that.
I agree with that. I want to ring the bell on that. Support system is a very key thing that I'm used to working with people going through a divorce or going through whatever tragedy might be happening to them is where is your support system? So I'm usually trying to gear people, whether it's, you know, medical issues or whatever the crisis is where are you strongest? Yeah. And so to be an American fighter, to be a survivor. We don't need to be out here alone.
No.
Alone is a bad place to be. So, House of Grace does provide support. We are, a professional atmosphere, a supportive, encouraging, full of hope, full of good spiritual stuff. Some victims don't have a good environment to go to. They don't have a great family. And even I've shared this once before is I've led a domestic violence support group for House of Grace, I think for 3 years. And in that support group, I learned that most victims were actually childhood victims of abuse, domestic violence. So the abuse didn't start with whoever physically abused them, but it actually started in childhood. So a lot of our victims who are coming into the shelter, they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have a great home, a nurturing environment to go to. But if they do, if they have support people, then we want to try to get them there.
Yeah.
So it might be a bus ticket. It might be, just housing them for long enough for their family to come pick them up or something like that.
And even if they're, say they have family that's on the Gulf Coast, we try to work with that shelter on the Gulf Coast, say, hey, their support system is in the Gulf Coast. We need to get them there.
Yes.
So, we have those relationships with the other shelters in the state to be able to call them and say, hey, do y'all have room?
Yes.
Their support system is there. That this isn't working for, they need that support system.
They need it.
Definitely.
It's wonderful. I heard you say the counseling, and I love our counselor, Miss Judy. I love her, and she's just a treasure.
Yes.
And I actually refer a lot of people to her. She does free domestic violence counseling.
She's a board certified
trauma
informed counselor.
Board certified trauma informed counselor. She's worked with children for years in the public schools, and she is not only certified and licensed and all those certifications. She doesn't just have license and certificates hanging on the wall, but she's actually gifted.
Yes.
In my mind, she's gifted to do what she does. She takes it very seriously as a calling, and she does wonderful work for House of Grace.
She's a wealth of knowledge.
She is. She's definitely an excellent listener, and she is a very good provider. I don't know what else to say about her. I could go on and on and on, and it'd be the same. She is amazing. She truly is, and she is a treasure within House of Grace.
Yes.
And I would hate to lose anybody that we have, but just the heartbreak, of a shelter closing. So 19.
We are definitely blessed.
We are blessed, and I do believe personally that, a secret, not really a secret at all, but it is a secret of House of Grace to stay in this many years and survive and when many other shelters have fallen is that we do lean on the Lord and we pray. We pray in our board meetings. We have prayer partners. They may not give a lot, may not give any money, but they will give us their prayers. So we need those prayers. And so you may not have a building to donate. I understand. I don't have a building to donate either. May not have a lot of cash laying around, but I'd appreciate your prayers for House of Grace.
Your prayers.
Yes. And we're so blessed. The people that come in around us, and I've always been amazed that the Lord sends the right people to us, the people that have the training and knowledge, that He puts the teams together. He puts the right people to help us. We don't have to do it alone. Regina could not do this work alone. Sarita could not do this work alone. Miss Katie never did it alone.
It takes a village.
It takes a village of people. And God has been faithful to bring the right people in to help us. So that's been amazing to watch over the years, and just a wonderful test. I wish I could just stop and write some books or something, and that would be one of them, is the beauty of this ministry. And but So we've got Miss Judy doing the counseling, and she's, like I said, just wonderful. And then we have some opportunities within the community. I've Miss Katie, who was the founder, and she was there when I came in. What I needed, what I needed, they were trying to talk me into, staying at the shelter. I didn't want to. And they said, what would it take? What would it take for you to stay at the shelter? I didn't want to stay at the shelter. And I said, if I could study for the bar exam. Yeah. And Steve Jabera, assistant, district attorney here locally, personally went to Ole Miss College, the law school, and picked up a box of bar review materials and brought them for me so I could study for the Mississippi bar. So that's one of the reasons I'm licensed in
God put you there.
Mississippi, So, but, I didn't just need food and a place to stay, but they actually looked and saw what motivated me to come into the shelter, because
that's what we do for our clients.
Yeah.
We don't want them to have to, go back. So
struggle.
We try to rally around them and support them and find out what do they need in order not to go back.
Yeah. So I've kind of, in my mind over the years, it's been like, for people that need to leave, it seems like the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, people say, why don't you just leave? And you're looking at this Grand Canyon, and it's like, I can't walk across that. I can't. I'm not Evel Knievel. It seems like an impossibility. Yeah. But, as different people in the system of recovery are able to say, well, I can do this, and this person can help with this piece of it. And slowly you can kind of see that I can do this. Yeah. I can make a leap of faith, and fight not only for myself, but also for my children in this situation. So that's pretty exciting to be a small part of someone's, impossible places, right?
Yes, and that's my favorite part of my job is whenever I see them come in so traumatized, the children, the mom or the dad, whenever they come in and they're so traumatized, but then they're walking out at the end of their stay ready to take on the world. They're ready to be independent. They're ready to just do what they need to do to move forward. Yes. That's my best part. I visited a client that we had that, she got a job. She moved into her house, and I went and visited her today, and just to see that, the kids are happy. She's happy. They're doing wonderful.
Yes.
And I just absolutely love that
She's
part of my job.
She's hooked on it. She's addicted.
Yes. Yes.
I say that I'm addicted to recovery stories. I don't do dope, but I'm addicted to recovery stories. So it's exciting to see people get better, and it's good for your spirit and your soul and what you do to see people do better and see like, I really am making a difference, in the women and the kids, and I'm really making a difference. So
that's why we try, Miss Sarita is wonderful when it comes to educating the public. And I've been blessed to have to go with her, well, not have to be with her whenever she talks to the public. Because not everybody talks about domestic violence. It's something that it's hush hush.
Right.
Nobody really wants to talk about domestic violence.
It's embarrassing.
It is.
It's embarrassing to be a victim of domestic violence.
Yes. Yeah. And it's not the embarrassment we should feel, because it's not our fault. That's what we always tell them. It's not your fault. You're here.
I remember other lawyers told me, you shouldn't tell people that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't tell people that you're a survivor of domestic violence. And I prayed about it, and I was like, should I? Should I not? Should I keep that really private, or should I use it in some good way? Yeah. Should I use it? And, I have at times been in tears because of the people, because I have been more transparent about my history of being a victim and then my transition to being a survivor, that my transparency has allowed other people to reach out to me for help, and that people that has been shocking to me, you know. So I'm glad that I made a decision, you know, to help, to use that for good. And it's pretty exciting, you know. It's kind of even like that scripture, Genesis 50:20, what Satan meant for evil, God used it for good. Yeah. So I'm thankful for those moments but what do you think makes you good at what you do, Regina?
Well, I am also a survivor.
Okay. And I don't know this story, but I've heard someone told me that she has a survivor story that's pretty interesting, and I've never heard it. Okay. So I'm going to try to be quiet if that's
I've never
possible.
been brave enough to get in front of people, you know, a group of people. I've had my story read several times, in front of, like once at the Purple Purse and then once at the Love is Respect that we had at Northwest about a month ago. But so I haven't been that brave enough to get out there and you know,
look at her.
So I you know,
the wheels are moving. The wheels are moving. So a testimony.
Back when I was in a domestic violence relationship for about 10 years. Okay. And I never knew about any of the opportunities for shelter or for help at all.
Okay.
I was raised in domestic violence. I watched my mom struggle every day with domestic violence. So it became normal. It became my normal. So I wasn't intending to find, it's not our intention, hey, I want somebody that's going to beat on me today, or I want somebody that's going to take away my self-esteem today. But so I was a very sheltered girl. I stayed very close to home. I was very introverted. Books were my hobby. They were my life. So whenever I was about 17, 18, I had my first job at Waffle House. So I was there for a good long time. They were my family. And I was about 22 when I met my abuser. And the thing is, the shame and the guilt of knowing kept me in my relationship, because I knew beforehand that he had trouble. I knew it. But in my heart, I'm like, no, he looks at me differently. He wants me.
I'm different.
You know, that the cliche, that's not me. That's
I'm
you.
Smarter than that.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, for years we got our first apartment together. We adopted a dog together. And he did try to marry me, and God said no. Yeah. So I just kept putting it off. No, it's not time. It's not that
ready.
time. Yeah. So that was God right there.
Okay.
And
you're a smart girl. That's what it is.
I did not.
And you're a smart girl. Yeah.
So for years and years, it was wonderful. We were peaceful, you know, little bitty spats here and there, but nothing big. And but little by little, I noticed that if I spent too much time talking with friends, you know, we would argue. Too much time at my mom's house, we would argue. There's always some little things that I'm doing that would cause a fight. So I'm not going to say I isolated myself, but he isolated me from that, because in order to keep him happy, I chose peace.
Yes.
So I chose to not have those conversations, not visit my mom, not visit my sisters. So one day he came home, and it was late at night. I was in the kitchen, and he was very, very angry.
And how long had you been together at this point?
4 years.
And had he ever been physical?
Never physical.
Okay.
Always verbal.
Okay. Psychological
was our whole relationship. Okay. Yeah, I don't think he ever loved anybody except for himself. Honestly. Yeah. But I wanted love. I never had that relationship. I never had that male figure showing me love, but that's what I wanted. So he charged at me and he hit me, but he was very, very, oh, I'm so sorry, very, that'll never happen again. And of course, that's what they all do. And I believed him, so we went on. And the psychological abuse was very bad. I lost who I was. I lost who I was to keep him happy.
So when you say psychological abuse, what do you mean?
He would drill into my head that nobody else would love me, nobody else wanted me, that he was the only one for me, and just mean things like that, telling me that
just to
I wasn't good enough,
to crush your spirit,
yes,
to crush
definitely.
Who you are. Okay.
And I mean, it just went up downhill from there. Sorry,
you're fine.
He was on drugs.
Okay.
And he would go out days on end and then come home. One day, I had to be at work at 6:00 that morning, but he would not let me sleep. Anytime I would try to sleep, he would hit me in my side, hit me in my stomach, pull my hair. And so days and days of that, I finally had enough. And because I was so scared, I ended up sleeping with a knife under my pillow because I was so scared of that. And
if you could back up to the beginning of the relationship, what is domestic violence?
It's just power and control over another person, and that's what he had.
Was that your definition at the time?
No.
What did you think?
I didn't even know I was in a domestic violence relationship. Okay. Like, those words were never in my mind at all.
So, what's your definition today of domestic violence?
Just
or domestic abuse.
And that it doesn't have to be physical. It's psychological. It's verbal. It's financial. He had all the money.
Okay.
I worked, but I never had the money.
Okay.
I he paid the bills when I needed to pay the bills, but after that, it was all for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you know? I mean, if you can think back as far as the beginning of the relationship, how would you define domestic abuse? Did you know your mother was abused?
I didn't know until later, because I knew that my stepdad would hurt her.
Physically?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of physical.
And did you see that?
Yes.
Yes. So watching someone you love be physically abused, mentally abused, psychologically abused, spiritually abused is abuse.
Yes.
It's extremely abusive to a little girl to watch her mother being abused. And so you're also conditioning a little girl to think that maybe this is okay. Maybe part of it's okay. So a lot of times when I've talked to children in domestic violence, and they think, and a lot of people think, that domestic violence is a black eye.
It's not.
Yeah. And they think as long as you're not being hit, you're not being abused. Yeah. And some batterers will say, well, I never hit her.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to hit her if you're 400 pounds and, you don't have to hit somebody to abuse them.
And because I knew he was having troubles with his child's mother. So that the shame, we were already deep into this relationship. So the shame of me coming forward with any of that was mute. How can I come forward with that? So that shame and the guilt was on me.
Were you attached to his child?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew his child was 5 when we got together.
And you may have been able to leave him. It might have been harder to leave that child.
Yeah.
So sometimes women have a more they could leave possibly the guy, but they don't want to leave the kids because they don't want to leave.
And during our relationship, I eventually, my sister and her kids, I had started helping my sister with her kids. So I would often have her children, living with me. So as long as the abuse was focused on me, I was fine. I was like, okay, I can handle it.
You can handle it.
I can handle it. I'm used to this. I know how to be the buffer between everybody.
You can manage it.
Yes, I knew how to manage it. That's exactly the right word. I knew how to manage his anger, how to manage his
moods.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But then my niece came forward and she told me that he had touched her.
Uh-oh.
And something snapped in my head, because before, what kept me with him is the knowledge that I know he said he would kill my mom. He'll kill my family.
Did you believe him?
Oh, definitely. Okay. Yes. He said he would kill them. He would kill my animals. That alone kept me in my relationship, because as long as I can keep him happy, then none of that's going to come true.
There was no threat.
Yes.
You were responsible for managing the threat.
Yes.
Against the people that you love the most.
Mm-hmm. So, but when she told me that, and I realized that his personality wasn't just focused on me, it had just creeped into my niece.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped. I couldn't do it anymore. So I think that was like 9.5 years in. I was like, nope. You're not going to touch my babies.
That's right.
You're not going to touch my babies.
Mm-hmm.
So we called the police. I threw all of his stuff out. I locked the door, changed the locks on the doors, called the police. They arrested him at his job. So from that point on, he had a no contact with my whole family. And so once he crossed that line,
mm-hmm.
I couldn't take it anymore.
So you had a boundary.
Yes. I was okay as long as it was focused on me.
Yeah.
I could handle it.
Yeah.
I can take it.
But the babies?
No.
Not the babies.
That was my boundary line.
Okay. You deserve more boundaries,
yes.
Regina. You do. I'm just kind of thinking, could you go back? Can you remember when the first time you saw that power and control wheel?
When it was our 4th year together. Before he hit me, before that, I was shopping at Walmart and a friend stopped to talk to me. It was a male friend. And I think it was a classmate, somebody I went to school with. And, just, hi, how you doing? Getting mm-hmm. caught up. And he was with me. But then when we got home, he said I started flirting. I was flirting with this other person in front of him. It made him mad.
Yeah.
It made him very angry. And, so I saw that. That was the moment I was like, okay, why? I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong.
I didn't do anything wrong. So I tried to convince him I didn't do anything wrong. Mm-hmm. I love you.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody else.
I was just talking to somebody. Yeah.
It was that point.
Well, we obviously we use this all the time, but we use that power and control wheel mm-hmm. about domestic violence. What is domestic abuse? And I don't have one just handy, but we use that tool. It's just like a PDF that picture of a wheel of domestic violence, and it has the physical abuse. Mm-hmm. It has the psychological, spiritual, verbal, mm-hmm. Emotional, using your children, using male privilege. Mm-hmm. I guess it could be using female privilege, but, and then at the conference that we both just went to, the legal abuse is another one that's been added to that, supposed to be added to it. But that tool is just a profound tool that we use to help somebody that doesn't understand domestic violence.
That it's not just physical.
It's not just a black eye.
Yeah.
That there are other things that could be done, like the financial abuse, taking your paycheck and you can't even, you make the money, but he won't let you access it.
And even though I knew he was, not hurting me, whether it was physical, psychological, I called the police one time myself. My mother called for me later. But so the one time that I called, I did not press charges because I knew he would go to jail.
Yeah.
So I didn't want him to go to jail. I loved him.
What did you want him to do?
I just wanted him to leave.
Act right. Yeah. Just leave or act right or something. And
it didn't happen. He left for a few hours and came back.
He came back.
But my mom, the time, and I could have had him arrested. He could have been in jail, but I chose not to again because he kept me hostage in our apartment for 2 days. He had a knife and a gun, and I don't know if I think he was on a lot of drugs, which isn't an excuse.
Right.
It was already there for him to think about it. But he would not let me leave. I had to call out of work those 2 days. So he kept me hostage for 2 days. Just put a gun to my head. If you leave me, I'm going to kill you. I'll kill your parent or your mom. Just things like that. And then finally I went to the bathroom. I was able to get my phone and I called my mom and I told her, hey, this is going on.
Yeah.
So the police came, but by that time, the gun was gone, the knife was gone. So none of that was there. But they're like, okay, well, what do you want us to do? Because there's nothing here. Y'all are living together. We can't
force you to leave.
We can't force you to leave. We can't force him to leave.
Yeah.
So he chose to leave for a couple of days. So he did leave for a few days. But then he came back and he was the same person that I knew 5-6 years ago. He was the same person that I first met.
Yeah.
Very sweet, very forgiving, what's the word?
Charismatic,
yes,
sweet, and
offering
on you.
Honeymoon
phase. Yes. They'll call that the honeymoon phase.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this made him realize, hey, he needs to stop.
Yeah.
So of course he came back and I let him back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it just took a matter of time before the
he ended up
starts cranking back up and all that sort of stuff. So that's part of the reason you're kind of good at what you do.
Yes,
you understand
it is. I understand where the clients are when they first come in. I've been there. Whether it's I understand the issues that they're facing now. I didn't know who I was. I lost myself. I lost my family. It took time, to get that relationships back because I kept staying with him. So they in order to keep me safe, they would not come near me.
Right.
Because they knew who he was. They saw him.
Yeah.
But I hadn't quite seen it yet.
The denial was...
Yes.
It's you don't want to see it. Like the truth will set you free. Oh, yeah. The truth will set you free if you let it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't want to see the truth because it's scary. I don't want to turn the light on and see the monsters.
Yeah.
I'd rather just keep the light off so I don't have to look at them. But I'm so proud of you, Regina. I'm thankful for you and the heart that you bring to House of Grace and the heart that you bring to the women and children. And I know that I know it's a tough job. It's an impossible job. And frequently I tell people that's how you know it's a calling is because you can't do it by yourself.
That's right.
It's more than you can do because you have to partner with the Lord to do it well.
And I always tell them when they come in, this is your testimony right now. It's only a moment in your life that you're here.
That's true.
This isn't where your story ends. This is just the beginning of your next chapter, because there is a tunnel. The light is shining. Mm-hmm. It is there. Because, I mean, after that 10-year period, I swore off men. I was like, nope.
No more men.
I'm focusing on myself. I started going back to church because during that whole period, I could not go to church.
Yeah.
So I started going back to church, and that led me to my husband, who I have now, who is absolutely amazing to me.
He tells me good.
He tells me I'm special. He tells me, that I am these things that I never could think I was. But so they're really sweet, a happy together, ending. Yes, there is a happy ending for everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I appreciate you again. I appreciate you being vulnerable to come forward, and I'm thankful I got to hear your story.
Thank you.
And I know there's a lot more to the story,
you can't put all that in
an hour or a nutshell or whatever. But I'm very thankful that you were able to tell that, and I hope that just being here will help you continue to the wheels are turning for Regina to stand up and testify, to stand up and give her story, and that I pray that it brings courage to other women going through similar situations, and that they look at you and they say, if she can do it, maybe I can do it.
Yep.
Right. And you mentioned something about, this is a part of your story. I never dreamed when I was at the shelter. I was a bad client at the shelter. I was really bad. I wanted to leave every day. I was ready to leave. I was ready to go. I did not want to be there. And so I didn't follow the rules very well. Imagine that. But I would have never dreamed that I would still be talking about the shelter, and that the shelter, just that 6 months. Now, you're not supposed to be able to stay 6 months, but they had to keep me and put up with me for 6 months. But I never dreamed that little 6-month window would still be not just a part of my history, but a part of my present day, passion in my heart. And I care about, what's going on at that shelter. So I would have, that was, 15, 20, I mean, it's going on 20 years ago now. And it was a very important 6 months in my life and my children's life. And I know that when you see what House of Grace does and all that it means, I mean, you would have loved to have had a few months just to recover. And for people to put their arms around you, like you said, wraparound services, people that you realize are fighting for you, fighting for your best outcome.
That believe you,
that they believe what you're saying, and that they know how the system works to help you be successful. And we, acknowledge the heartbreak of domestic violence. And, you've seen it like I have in people's eyes, just the brokenness. And it's such a beautiful thing to see people get better and have light in their eyes and to be excited. And I thank you for bringing whatever you had to go through to get here.
That's right.
I'm thankful that you've been willing to help us and us be able to work together. She's really a treasure. I love Regina and what she does, and I don't tell her enough, but I appreciate her and all the people that we have working with House of Grace.
Yes,
so
they're awesome.
It's phenomenal. So again, if you've got anything to help us with domestic violence, October every year is domestic violence. So if you see, we got our purple on, that's what we're about. We're doing domestic violence stuff. It's all about purple power, empowering victims, empowering. I like to empower women. I'm sorry, but I like men too. I'm just saying, I love I'm in a season of life where I'm really enjoying my sisterhood.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm thankful for that. So, we definitely want to train our daughters to grow up so they don't have to
That's right.
deal with things. And also men, our young boys, that they don't put up with domestic violence. We don't want anybody being abused. No more violence. Okay.
Education is key.
Education. If you would like for House of Grace to, come speak about domestic violence, we have people that will come speak. I will come speak. Sarita will come speak. We like to speak about domestic violence. Mm-hmm. We're loud and proud about domestic violence. So, I'm going to pray us out. Mm-hmm. And do you have anything specific you want to pray about?
Just right now, not necessarily for me, but the clients that we have right now, she really needs some prayer.
Okay.
She's 5 months pregnant.
Okay.
With 4 littles.
Oh, okay.
She definitely needs some prayer.
We will go ahead and go into prayer, and we'll pray about this situation, but there's so many other situations out there that are similar. Mm-hmm. And so I'll just kind of pray us out, and we will, I'll do my little out exit or whatever. But thank you, dear Lord, for this day. I thank you for this hour that we've been able to come together and speak about domestic violence, speak about House of Grace, and also this powerful testimony of transition from a victim to a survivor, and even further as an advocate for others. And that's a beautiful thing, Lord. And we thank you for all of the times that you were there in those situations, and that you kept her safe, and you gave her strength, courage, and wisdom to know how to survive mm-hmm. it. And we thank you for that. And we thank you just for that testimony that she has. And Lord, we ask that you would be with House of Grace in their financial issues, or their leadership, that we have the right people come in and help us as we try to help others. I ask that you would just empower this ministry and give it the leadership and resources that we need to do what needs to be done. We also ask that you bless the shelter itself, that it be a place mm-hmm. of refuge and sanctuary for those that are coming in. I pray that they feel peace, and I pray that especially upon the children that come into House of Grace, that they enjoy the time and the attention that they get while they're there, and that they feel loved. And I thank you, Lord, that you allow us to come in and just be a light for the children and the women that are there. I ask that you would be with this lady in this time of need, and I ask that you be with so many others. Lord, help them to have hope. Help send laborers to help lead them out of bondage, and help them to be delivered into resources and things that can help them mm-hmm. have the life that you wanted them to have. Lord, we pray especially for this month, as far as domestic violence, that there would be awareness, education, and that you would put a special blessing upon all of our shelters in Arkansas and Mississippi, and our leadership among, and also that the resources that we all need. Help mm-hmm. us to work together. Help us to not be any kind of strife, or that you would really just help us learn how to work together to help those that need us so much, so desperately. And especially that you pray for that you would be with Sarita as she leads House of Grace, mm-hmm. and also with Miss Katie that we love so much. Mm-hmm. And just bless our community, that we would have less violence, that we would have a season of peace. And we thank you for your blessings. And we thank you for this time again. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I would like to thank you again for coming, Regina.
Thank you.
I thank all of the people who will listen to this, especially as I get them posted and all that sort of thing. But thank you for tuning in to American Fight Stories with Dabar. We are challenging all Americans to be better Americans. And you can find this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Please rate, subscribe, review, and you can email me personally at DabarCares@DabarLaw.com. Thank you so much.